What's going on out there, y'all? I'm back with another volume here for Welcome to the Franchise. Here for another one with volume 17. Here to get into what's been going on this week as we've seen some more coaching hires, some more coaching news, little small turn of events in that department and in that area. So I want to get into that. Also want to talk a little bit about, of course, we're gearing up for this conference championship round here for the teams to get into the Super Bowl. Gonna talk a little bit about that. Who you want to see in the game, who we think is probably most likely gonna be in the game, and talk a little bit about the key players, the non-star players that are also key players that can make a difference in some of the games here that we want to talk about coming up this weekend. So with all that being said, back at it again, the young sport. Let me get right into it and start off with this coach hiring aftermath here. So I want to start here on the subject right now and just talk a little bit back on, Aaron Glenn and the Jets, right? So seeing that, I didn't peep at first, after reading the details of it. And I'm still not sure. I mean, I hope it's not true because I ain't never really seen no shit like this before, at least to my memory and everything recently, with a coach that's basically like a free agent, right? He wasn't traded for anything like that, but they gonna hire Aaron Glenn as the head coach, right? But they gotta give up 2 third-round picks? Like, what the fuck? Like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? Mind you, they still don't have a GM also. And got no offensive coordinator and everything like that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But you got no GM, you hire Aaron Glenn, and you got to give away 2 third-round picks. This draft, I believe, is set in the draft after that. Third-round picks do have value to some players that you could find if you draft correctly. The Jets are not one of those teams that are able to do that consistently. So, probably not a big deal to them, or probably not a big deal at all, but to me, this just says the same old dumb old Jets, like the same dumbass Jets, getting fleeced or, getting jobbed, even just trying to get a fucking head coach. And I feel good about Aaron Glenn being a head coach or being a coach in this league. Do I feel good about it with a Jets organization? A feel-good moment, like, yeah, he used to play for them. He was drafted by them and shit. The fans love him, all that. Yeah, that's cool. But as far as, like, when you really think about it for real in terms of, like, the league and the business and everything like that, and the organization you got to work for with their history on the product they put on the field, as far as how they work from the top down or in the front offices, I don't really like this for him. Is he somebody I think is capable of turning that shit around? Yeah, I do. But I don't know with the Jets franchise because this looks like another dumb move, another dumb mistake here. You hire a coach who's a free agent coach. You didn't trade for him. Good candidate and everything, but it's not like his defense was like top 3 years in a fucking row or some shit to be giving up no 3rd-round picks. You need those with the way that y'all put rosters together and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it just looks like another one of those situations where, of course, the Jets, they got fleeced, they got jobbed, they got finessed. You know what I'm saying? And another one of those situations where, of course, they got finessed because every team in the league, every franchise, all 31 of the other franchises know that they could do it to them. And that's one of their main fucking problems. Like, everybody knows they could get one off on the Jets. Everybody knows they can finesse the Jets out of a deal. Everybody knows they can finesse the Jets out of a decent position or a player. And everybody knows when you're in your back nine or when you just want to be like, fuck, I just want to check and I don't give a fuck. Let me come to the Jets and get my bag. You know what I'm saying? So, it looks dumb on their part again. Now, also following that, seeing what's been out there and everything, I don't know how much I believe this, but it's showing that Aaron Glenn might want to keep Aaron Rodgers on board going forward for this upcoming season here. That's fucking stupid. And I don't want to believe that for a guy like Aaron Glenn. You want to come in with a fresh, clean slate, right? And really put your mold and your fit, you know what I'm saying, into what you want to get going in motion here, right? But to keep Aaron Rodgers is fucking, that shit's dumb as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not one, it's not a good look. Two, what is he really gonna fucking do? You know what I'm saying? And the way he's been looking this year and shit, and on the downside of it and everything like that. I know he's a Hall of Famer, great talented quarterback and everything, but on the downside of it, the way he's looking, that motherfucker might as well be fucking Andy Dalton next year. He could come out looking like that. So let his ass go. You might as well get your Andy Dalton, you know what I'm saying, who's probably going to be out there to be a backup or be a bridge guy and shit until you got to draft someone, or have him help with a quarterback that you probably already got on the team, a young quarterback there. Which leads to my next point. It don't make no sense in keeping Aaron Rodgers around. You still have a competitive-looking roster on paper. And like I said the other day, it's really about that mindset with certain players. And I'm going to get into that just a little bit more too. But it's really about the mindset of certain players. But, it don't make any sense really keeping Aaron Rodgers when you probably got your 3-year starter. And I'm going to just say in a 3-year span right now, you probably got your 3-year starter on the roster in Jordan Travis right now. We don't know exactly what he's got, you know what I'm saying, coming off a broken leg and everything out of FSU. But we've seen that he was a baller and what he's capable of and everything like that from FSU, under the radar pick. No one's expecting nothing from him, but he might fuck around and be something. And I say a 3-year span or a 3-season span, because we got to see what he is first before you start being like he's a franchise quarterback. He might fuck around and be that. And the way it's looking right now in the league, if you're one of those teams who's built, solid to good to really good on defense, and you just need you have a few pieces here and there on offense and probably need to just add a few pieces on offense but don't have a quarterback, these days it's looking like you kind of got to still dive into your kind of like the 49ers Brock Purdy route right there, because they drafted Lance, who was a first-round pick. He was a bust. I believe it was the same draft maybe, or the draft that or before, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. You drafted Zach Wilson, bust. But who do you find as your Mr. Relevant from the Niners in the draft after that, I think, or whatever it was? You got Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? He was on your roster the whole time, doing scout team, coming up in the ranks, probably, getting coached up or doing things on his own with his work ethic to try and be a starter one day, right? And you don't have to pay him for a while your defense is still good or they're getting better and your offense is still good or getting better. You know what I'm saying? So a nigga like Jordan Travis is probably you're going to have to go in there with the mindset that nigga's going to be your starter from the beginning of the season or at some point. You're going to have to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Aaron Rodgers is not going to take you there. Even if he is good enough to take you there, it just seems like the same repetitive cycle, that vibe, you know what I'm saying? That vibe and energy is still hanging on from the previous 2 seasons and everything like that. And I don't think you really want that around being a new head coach. You want a fresh new vibe. The fans want a fresh new vibe and fresh new stories and everything like that, because it's going to continue to be a circus. But you rather it be a circus with a brand new, young quarterback who's essentially still a rookie, hasn't played a down yet, you know what I'm saying, and a new coach, rookie head coach and everything like that, and then you still kind of got a good defense together, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm of the mindset, and this is what I was saying too, they still don't have no fucking GM, and they don't have no fucking OC. So it's like, you gonna placate to Aaron Rodgers again and let him pick the OC again? And probably pick the GM the way he think he can move and shit? No, you're not fucking doing that shit again. You got to move different now if you want different results, right? So, with that, I was thinking, if they get a big picture GM, I'm thinking, my crazy thoughts out there, I know people out there like, nah, that's so D, wild. And I had to think about it too and just walk it back a little bit. Where it's like, you know what? For a guy like Aaron Glenn, you got a pretty good defense. You probably need to fill in some pieces here and there. You could probably use another edge rusher. Could definitely use a nice, good defensive tackle. I don't think you need to go in the first 3 rounds for that. You can find that anywhere, undrafted, 4th round, 3rd round, whatever, 5th round, and you coach them up, they could be good. Definitely need some safeties and maybe 1 or 2 good depth linebackers that could fly around a little bit or that could cover a little bit and could do those QB spies on those quarterbacks you got to deal with in the AFC, right? So, but other than that, you gotta You got a corner who still needs to prove himself, but still a good, solid corner when he wants to perform. And Sauce Gardner, maybe he just had a down year. Maybe somebody like Aaron Glenn could really, really coach him up. You know what I'm saying? You got Michael Carter II, who's good in the slot, gets banged up a little bit, but you probably should draft a few more corners in the reserve. Got Eccles, who actually is the only DB that really gets turnovers if you still want to work with him. DJ Reed is gone. You probably draft somebody. You know what I'm saying? You could draft somebody in the late first if you flip a trade, or early in the second round if he drops like a Maxwell Hairston or something like that, right? And I was of the mindset of trading away someone like Sauce, flip and see what you could get for him. You know what I'm saying? I was in the mindset of trading away somebody like Breece Hall or Gary Wilson, see what you could get for him. But as a rookie head coach and a coach like Aaron Glenn, you got those pieces already there. You know what I'm saying? Just get the mindset there for them now, because, with a coach like Salah, which all those guys came in with and everything, obviously it didn't work. And, you know what I'm saying, maybe they just all need someone with a whole brand new mindset that's really going to get them like, oh, shit, like, I wasn't moving or thinking like this before. Fuck it. Let's get right. I'm not going to lie, I'm still a little bit in the mindset that right now, before it gets crazy down the line where they may regret it, because you know how it is with wide receivers, especially wide receivers that demand a lot of themselves and demand a lot from their team and, their quarterback, and they want to win and get their numbers. I still believe it wouldn't be a bad idea to try and flip Garrett Wilson for a first-round pick this year if you can. Someone like the Texans, so you have 2 picks, so you could get whoever you get at the first pick and you could double dip in there, especially when you're trading away fucking 3rd-round picks. You know what I'm saying? I'm still of the thought you could do that. Breece Hall also, I'm still a little bit of the thought of that. But I guess maybe a little bit more. I'm still kind of walking back those trades a little bit too, but a little bit more walking back on the Sauce trade. I mean, Aaron Glenn being a corner, maybe I'll help him with his mindset, really get his shit right. Maybe keep him around, and I don't really see anyone else on the defense that you really need to trade like that at this point. But shit, if a great deal's on the table to trade Sauce, flipping for some more picks or some of value, you should still do that too. But like I said, all in all, with those players there, I'm walking that back a little bit, because I get it, they're core players and everything like that. But I'm just thinking very, very big picture. I'm trying to think past the 3 years they've already played, about to go on 4, and getting into their 5th year of their contract type stuff. And are they even going to really want to still be around after all the losing that they've went through? Even if they do go to the playoffs after their first year with Aaron Glenn. You know what I'm saying? I just think you got to think big picture down the line. But that's just what I got to say on that. Like I said, they still need that fucking GM, and they still need that OC. They don't got that correct. They don't got that right. It ain't looking good. Other than that, they might already have their 3-year starter and Jordan Travis on the roster, and he might fuck around and turn out to be like a Russell Wilson-ish type situation when Pete Carroll first took the job with the Seahawks and got Matt Flynn and then got Russell Wilson. Do the same thing. Get Andy Dalton or somebody else like that that's out there, and then let Jordan Travis do his thing. Now, speaking on that, the new news that came out with these new hires here, you got Pete Carroll, who's got hired by the Las Vegas Raiders, which I ain't gonna hold you, that shit kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, oh shit. Kind of didn't really see that one all the way coming. They was floating his name around, but I think it's just how the chips fell and everything, because I think before that, we're also caught me by surprise after I already spoke about how he said, nah, I ain't gonna go to Jacksonville, and stay with the Bucs and got that bag to stay with the Bucs. Was a smart move for him. It was Liam Cohen, who the report said that he said, I don't want to be a head coach right now because I don't think I'm ready yet, which is smart for you. Keep being an OC, working with Baker, keep doing your thing, going to the playoffs, and you get in the bag. You'll be ready when you're ready. You try to do the Ben Johnson route. But I think what's been happening and everything like that is that, with the vibe of this hiring cycle, and it seems like nobody was really up to get the Jags job. Nobody was really up to get the Cowboys job. Nobody's really up to get the Saints job. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of forced on him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you gotta take the job now, because it's just like, yo, don't nobody want it. They don't like no other candidates. They want you. They want an offensive minded person and everything like that again. And then, you know, Tampa Bay ain't far from Jacksonville, and I heard they did a little sneak meeting, you know what I'm saying, sneak fill up the PJ for you, to go and take the interview again, and this time take the job. Let's make this thing fucking happen. And, you know, for anyone in any situation, like certain situations where you have a career opportunity to advance some more, sometimes there's bags you can't say no to. It's going to set you up with your family, set you up in your situation. Sometimes you got to be like, fuck it. You got to take the opportunity, and even if it fucks up, you glad you took it, so you have that under your belt. You got your bag and everything like that, and then if it doesn't work out, your next opportunity, you can kind of do what you want because you got paid, and you could see what you learn from and get better from it in your next situation, and probably be back to being a head coach again. You know what I'm saying? But I think it seemed a little bit forced, because he said, he came out and said, you're going to stay with the Bucks. I thought that was going to happen. And then it looked like it would be a good opening for a guy like, you know, maybe Robert Saleh. He coached there before at one point in his coaching career with the Jags. Maybe a Robert Flores, maybe another like surprise candidate that's an offensive coordinator after the Super Bowl's finished or something like that. Or, you know, that would have happened for the Jags and stuff. But it looks like they're going to go with Liam Cohen, which kind of not a bad setup for him, too. It's not like he's going to a fucked up situation where he ain't got no quarterback, or he got to draft a quarterback. And I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence is ill like that. You know what I'm saying? He's really not like that, like what we thought he would be. But it's a reclamation project. And now you get to, you know what I'm saying? You get to put your hands on that project and mold it into, you know what I'm saying, an operation that you see fit for this quarterback, because you could turn him around just like niggas turn around Jared Goff, niggas turn around Baker Mayfield, niggas turn around Sam Darnold. So then you go up in there with your offensive expertise and see what you could do with him. It ain't like he ain't got shit. He just get hurt a lot. He don't make good decisions and shit or whatever, and he's not getting protected all the time. So shore up the offensive line, get him some more weapons on offense, and he already has some. Brian Thomas, Ingram, ETN, Bigsby, you know what I'm saying? Get some more weapons on offense. Protect his ass on that offensive line. The defense, the front seven for the most part is still solid and can be good. Coach them up to be really good and get that defensive backfield right, and you in motion. You know what I'm saying? You in motion for the next 3 seasons. This is a team that was just in the playoffs a couple years ago and had a comeback off of 27 points and won 28-27. You know what I mean? So you're not really in a bad situation. And then that also leads to me seeing, also after seeing that with the Pete Carroll hiring and him getting hired, Bobby Sloak just got fired from the Texans. And to me, this is just how I'm thinking with my crazy thoughts. This is just me, how I'm looking at it, and, you know, my perspective of it, you know what I'm saying, or perception of it, right? That Bobby Sloak getting fired is kind of, you know what I'm saying, looks a little bit like a little bit forced for the hiring cycle and everything like that, because look what the fuck is going on with the Cowboys now. Cowboys they ain't got their shit together. You know what I'm saying? It look like it's kind of drying up out there with the coaching candidates. You know, who they going to go turn back to? Mike McCarthy? No, the fuck they ain't doing that. They probably getting antsy now, sitting on their hands, and don't know what the fuck is going to happen after this conference championship round and the Super Bowl. And, you know what I'm saying? They, you know, it seems like Jerry and that Cowboys organization, they going to get real antsy and can't wait until after the Super Bowl to see if Kellen Moore is going to say, no, I'm staying with Philly, or I'll take the interviewing job with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Saints also, who just been sitting in limbo for mad long and shit now, you know, and it doesn't seem like the candidates that are out, they want the guys that are out there, they probably have a certain guy in mind, and you got to wait till after the Super Bowl for probably them, i.e. a Joe Brady, you know what I'm saying, a Joe Brady or a Spagnuolo, if he comes out again as a head coaching candidate, or a Matt Nagy, if he comes out again as a candidate to be a head coach, you know what I'm saying? So, or even a Kellen Moore for them too, for the Saints. So now you got Bobby Slowick now who's out there in the mix, and it's like, yo, we putting you out there for, you know what I'm saying, this little hiring cycle, I guess, because, you know, yeah, the offense didn't look the same or as good this year throughout the season, but then you also got to factor in, C.J. Stroud's not getting protected. No quarterback can do shit when they getting smacked back there, or they running around back there. But I won't lie, the offense did take a step back. It wasn't just that. Some scheming, like I said on one of my episodes before, some scheming could be adjusted and be better there. So maybe it was like more of a mutual thing, not like, yo, you suck this year and his ass, get the fuck out of here. Maybe it was like, hey, man, it just didn't work out this year. We probably have some other philosophies that we want going forward for next year and some seasons ahead to really compete. And, hey, look, you got some opportunities still here. You got to still stay in the state and see what they offer you with Dallas, whether that be another OC job / assistant coaching job or the head coaching job, or see what the fuck you can make shake in New Orleans, which ain't too far from Houston. So you got a shot there. We're just going to let you go. You know what I'm saying? Or see where else, if they want you to be an OC or assistant head coach somewhere else with the Jags or with the Jets or with New England and anything like that. And I'll say this also, my apologies. I didn't know that the Colts were still keeping Shane Steichen. I ain't gonna front. The Colts, to me, always been ass and shit, so I don't really pay attention to them too much like that. But they holding on to Shane Steichen. Cool, good for them. They got some kind of stability and shit. But, you know what I'm saying, I don't know shit gonna really shake for them. But nah, back to this right here. Bobby Slowick getting fired. He got good opportunities too. You know what I mean? As far as the Saints, I think the opportunity for them, I think what would be a nice opportunity, not for them, but for one of the candidates, Flores or Saleh out there. Saleh doesn't take that 49ers job, which it looked like he's going to take that because it's familiarity and there's a chance of more success for him to probably have a shot to be a head coach again if he wants that, or just more stability in just his career and be like, yo, these niggas I fuck with, I know them already and shit, right? But we'll see. I'd like to see Flores at least get a shot for an interview with the Saints. Slowick will be interesting, but I think that now we're down to the last two teams, the Saints and the Cowboys, they got their eye on the guy that I think they really want. And these are the teams that are competing to get into the Super Bowl. I honestly don't see Cliff Kingsbury leaving that situation. I think it works good for him. I think it works good for them. Some people, I think, are just best to stay in the OC role and keep killing it at doing that. And plus, it looks like he's really comfortable with Jayden. But as far as for Kellen Moore and Joe Brady, it looks like those are the guys. It looks like Jerry wants Kellen Moore, like I was saying before. And the Saints want Joe Brady because he has a history there. He has a history coaching there in that area. LSU, he coached with the Saints before. I think that's how he got his foot in the door with coaching or being an OC. I went to LSU, then went to the Panthers. And then I think after it didn't work out with the Panthers, I think, if I remember correctly, he went back to LSU for a second. I went with the Saints for a second and then went to the Bills to be the OC there. And I think that's their guy. I think that's who they really want if they really holding out this long and shit. And same thing for the Cowboys. Now, to these conference championship games here this weekend, should be really fun to watch. But I'm going to just get straight into it with the non-star players that I see that got to be key factors and make a difference here. I'm going to start with Washington and Philadelphia. And I'm going to go with Frankie Louisville. And I'm going to start with Frankie Louisville and Mike Sanders still. If those two guys have big games in coverage, because, Louisville covering guys like Goddard or keeping his eyes on guys like Goddard or Gainwell out the backfield or Barkley out the backfield and everything like that. And Louisville gets busy. He could tackle too. He gets his tackle numbers up too. If he has a big game in coverage in that part of the field, you know what I mean? It could be monumental in them having a chance to win this game. And same thing with Mike Sanders still. If he's able to keep playing how he's been playing, throughout the playoffs and throughout this year, get his hands on some balls with some deflections or stay sticky in coverage like he's been against some of their receivers in the slot or on the outside, it's going to be interesting. Stay sticky on, Devontae Smith, you know what I mean? Or if he has to cover, if he has to cover in the slot a little bit, if they want to run those kind of plays with Zacchaeus and, or if he has to end up being on A.J. Brown. You know what I'm saying? I think he will be up to that task, but those are the players, a couple of the players that I think got to have a big factor in the game. And then for them on offense also is Brian Williams and De'Ami Brown. If they come out and, their factor on the offensive side of the ball, helping out Jayden Daniels some more, you know what I mean, with, Scary Terry on the outside. Shoot, if De'Ami Brown keep doing what he's been doing, like in the playoffs and late in the season, they definitely got a shot with an opportunity to win this game and get in the Super Bowl. And same thing with Brian Williams. Brian Williams is able to play like he played in the last game, although it's going to be tough sledding up there up front. I hear that Cosme's not playing, their offensive guard, who's pretty good, and you got Jalen Carter and them niggas up front. You feel me? It's going to be hard for him, but if he's able to have a good game, cool, which means some of the other players that I'm also going to add to this list on top of the Washington's offensive line is, the rest of the committee with the running backs, and not just in the running game, but in the jet motion, jet stream, reverse, or the passing game is McNichols and Eckler. You know what I'm saying? So they got to be big factors if they really want a chance to win there. For the Eagles, I'm gonna say Reed Blankenship and C.J. Gardner Johnson. They gotta have big games also. Just if they gotta stop that run easily, and then they gotta be over the top, in coverage. You know what I'm saying? They gotta be over the top in coverage and everything. Not saying that outside of the McLaurin, they're gonna get beat deep or anything like that, but they wanna jam up those routes there. But it's mainly for the run in this one to me, because if they stop the run, but then if they jam in those honey holes in the seam or deep ends in the middle of the field when Jayden has to pass, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a long fucking day for the Commanders. It should be an easy win there. And then back to Frankie Louvu also, and maybe throwing Dante Fowler if they're able to successfully cover, and you have Fowler spying on Daniels and maybe interchange it with Louvu spying on Daniels. You know what I'm saying? They have a chance, but Blankenship. Oh, I'm damn. I said Washington. I'm sorry. Nah, I'm talking about C.J. Gardner Johnson and Reed Blankenship. Yeah, if they are able to get in those lanes and then have guys like Nolan Smith spying and interchanging, with Bond spying on Daniels, it should be an easy win, and that should be game over really easily there. And then also on defense is what I meant to say for Washington Commanders is the safeties, like Quan Martin, coming up and filling the alley correctly against Saquon Barkley, because, if he goes off and if they're able to stop the run and make it a passing game, they have more of a chance to win. But if they're not playing those alleys and filling the alleys correctly, and they're not taking the right angles and everything and getting beat, then it's going to be an easy win for the Eagles on offense. And then I'll say a couple other guys on offense for the Eagles, non-star players that, could be big factors in the difference in the game. Of course, Kenny Gainwell, if they get him more involved, if there are opportunities to get him more involved, similar to how Baltimore did with Justice Hill last week, then they're going to win that game easily. And then let's say if the Washington Commanders defense is scheming, well enough to kind of cover up Goddard and maybe the other receivers with Jalen Hurts. Maybe, let's say he has a hard time throwing outside the numbers or really completing it to his outside receivers and Smith and A.J. Brown, which we've seen those struggles this year and even in the last playoff game a bit. Maybe Jahan Dotson, he gets a couple easy throws in there to him underneath. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. As far as the Chiefs and the Bills game, I think the players on the Bills side that could be the real big factors is, of course, Teron Johnson. Teron Johnson out the slot, non-star player, and the other corner also Christian Benford. If they have big games or if they can get involved in stopping the passing game, that'd be, that'd be big in them being able to win this game. And then also DeMar Hamlin too. I've seen him in these past few games. Really all year, he's active. He's not gonna put up big numbers all the time in the tackle department, but he's active. He's getting his hand on the ball, being in positions in the passing game. If he could do that, we're getting in the way of Travis Kelce, making sure he's accounted for. Or if they want to throw those, middle posts or middle routes to Hopkins in the slot or Noah Gray or anyone else. Or even running the ball too. I've seen him active in the running game. If he steps up and has a big game with Rapp being out of the game with his injury, they can really fuck shit up for the Chiefs and have a chance to win. Also, the Terry Bernard and also Greg Rousseau, if Terry Bernard is able to cover how he covered last week against the Ravens and how he's capable of covering in his career as a linebacker for the Bills against the Travis Henrys and the Grays and the slot receivers and everything like that, they have a big chance to win. And Greg Rousseau setting the edge or being able to kind of, spy a little bit or just not rush too hard on the outside there to kind of contain Mahomes. And then that also factors in on the inside with those defensive tackles. That's going to help them because Patrick Mahomes does like to escape a little bit in between the guards if he has to, or just throw in between the guards. And then if you, keep that outside shoulder, there, don't always rush upfield, but stay kind of level with the quarterback, and then it forces them inside. Your defensive tackles could eat a little bit. While you got guys like Milano in the spy, maybe Rousseau in the spy, Epinesa on the other side, setting the edge and not going upfield past, staying level with the quarterback, and then you got Bernard in coverage. You got a big shot of winning. And then on offense for them, shit, man, if it looks like they're locking up guys like Amari Cooper or you only want to give one throw or two to Coleman, shit, Khalil Shakir's going to get his numbers. So I kind of put him in that star category or someone that's going to be relied upon heavy. But shit, get Mac Hollins involved a little bit because he made some plays during the season as well. I could see Mac Hollins getting involved big time. They love the dude Ray Davis out of Kentucky. I could see that happening as well. In the passing game, not just the running game, but in the passing game with Ray Davis as he slipped out for some routes and made some big catches during the season. And maybe a little bit of Ty Johnson. For the Chiefs, I ain't gonna hold you, man. Everybody's a fucking star player on that damn team, offense and fucking defense. Everybody's a factor. From the slot corner to the backup safety, to the starting safety, to the backup tight end, to the slot receiver, backup receivers. And I think Hollywood Brown is healthy and playing too, right? And you still got Juju Smith-Schuster. You know what I mean? You still got Hunt. I think Pacheco's healthy now, right? Everybody, man, everybody. So, but their main thing, other than that, the offensive line, you got Joe Tooney filling in, who's usually a guard, playing that tackle. They got to switch some things up there, and Buffalo has some players on that front line that could, make shit messy and do some things up there with Von Miller, Epinesa, Rousseau, Oliver. But as far as the Chiefs, man, everybody might as well be a fucking star player there because they get everybody so involved, and it really takes a team and a full unit on the other side of the ball on defense too, which is you got to like and respect how they play overall as a team. And that's why I'm going to go to who, Well, first, I was going to say who I think is going to be in the Super Bowl. I'll start with who I want to see in the Super Bowl. Who I'd rather see, I won't lie, because it'll be fun to see going back and forth a little bit, probably. And, one of the defenses isn't that good, but one of the offenses is good enough to kind of overcome that and make it entertaining. I would rather see Chiefs and the Commanders in the Super Bowl. And I also, just for the, just to see them get over the hump, even though, I'm not sure. It would be cool to see the Bills and Commanders in the Super Bowl, two teams I've never seen play in the Super Bowl in my lifetime, in my remembrance of watching football when I first started watching football. So that'd be cool for those purposes. And other than that, that's really it. No hate on the Eagles or nothing like that. It'd be cool to see them in there again too. It's just the style of play right now with Jalen Hurts passing game. Like, I want to see a mixture of both. Like, of course I want to see my nigga Saquon get off, run all over the place and shit. But I like seeing passing in the game too, especially in the biggest game on the biggest stage. I gotta see the ball flying through the air. Same thing as if it was a Bills Eagles Super Bowl. Like, Josh Allen, you got all that arm. Use that shit. We want to see that shit. But I know y'all could run the ball really well too, so I understand that. So that's why I say I'd rather see Kansas City versus Washington, and Washington versus the Bills, just because I've never seen both of those teams in the Super Bowl. Now, who I think is going to be in, I already said this a couple times before. I think it's really set up for the rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs. With my head, I think that, the Chiefs, they three-peat here. They're going to make history, the first team to ever three-peat that we've seen and everything. So I think that's what's going to happen. With my heart, I think that, the Eagles pull off the upset this time, because they knew the way it ended last time. They probably like, nah, that was some bullshit. Fuck that. And that was a good Super Bowl too. They went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No turnovers. For the most part, it was a clean game. Wasn't a lot of penalties or at all for real until that last little shit there. But hey, you know what I'm saying? And I think the Eagles, with my heart, I think that the Eagles get the, you know what I'm saying? They pull out the upset, they get the revenge, and they win that shit. And then to this real quick, after saying all of that, real quick, I'm going to get to it before, we're wrapping up this volume right here. The Mahomes versus Brady GOAT trajectory right now, right? And then the others. I seen there was a little slight conversation talking about because he's won this many Super Bowls this fast, so he's in the position now, trajectory to win 4 Super Bowls in his career this fast. They're talking about Mahomes might be the GOAT or a better GOAT than Brady. This is like that LeBron shit versus Jordan. I'm not gonna go there right now, but nah, I ain't gonna front. As much as I can't stand Tom Brady, I respect him. I respect his game. I seen the whole thing. I really saw a nigga win 7 fucking Super Bowls with my fucking eyes. Yeah, a lot of asterisks because of questionable calls and how he got there, and refs and all that shit and all that. We know that, but honestly, even when you're that, I'll agree. I know how sports works. Some of it, sometimes half of it, and some seasons most of it is bullshit. When you're that good and you're that great, you at some point in your career, you earn the right to get some of those calls and shit. It's bullshit, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I can't control it. You can't control it. No one else can control it. That's just the way it is, right? But I would not say that. I'm not ready to say that. And I like Mahomes way more than I like Tom Brady. I like watching Mahomes way more than I like watching Tom Brady. And for me, Mahomes has got a little bit more of that likability versus a Tom Brady and shit. You feel me? But I'm not ready to say that right now, that because of his trajectory right now, how many he's winning, he has a chance to three-peat and be the only quarterback that three-peated, or on the only team that three-peated. He'd be a better GOAT, or he's better than Brady. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That'll be 4. Shit, holla at me when you get 8. Because even if you win 7, I can't really say that, because that 28-3 shit is crazy. And I watched that whole Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie. To my recollection, I don't even remember any weird-ass flags that helped them get that comeback to win. I really don't. That was just some crazy shit. And then you got the other guys, man. Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Those guys are going to be great. They're going to be Hall of Famers also. But each of them, I'm talking about each of them, it's going to be hard because they all playing in the AFC. But each one of their asses better get a ring to be in some type of GOAT status. But it's crazy because with them all being in the same division and how it stacks up, and you still got to beat Mahomes, it's more than likely out of all 3 of them, only one's going to get a ring. Only one. So, and that's the fucked up part about it right there. So that right there, I think is an argument to make Mahomes even more of a GOAT. Like, yo, it's just crazy. Like, this is the greatest quarterback with my eyes since being alive. I seen play the game also, but not better than Brady yet. It's just that, damn, look at who these other motherfuckers is in your division also. Not just those quarterbacks. Those defenses he played against was pretty fucking tough too. We're not talking about the Bengals defense this year that made them miss the playoffs and shit. They had some pretty good defenses too when they lost to them when they lost to the Bengals to get to the Super Bowl that time, and when they had to play them other times in the season or postseason or whatever. Same thing with those Bills defenses. Same thing with those Ravens defenses. It's not just all on the quarterbacks. It's a whole team game here. So that makes Mahomes, I think, an even iller GOAT and everything like that. But those three other guys, man, they better get their shit together. If the Chiefs three-peat here, after this, they have maximum a 3-year window to get one of their rings, and that's it. Because this looks like a dynasty that's going to be coming back again in full swing after the three-peat, after they get a little tired and they have their three-peat hangover and shit. They're going to come back for some more. Because Patrick Mahomes is going to start trying to chase the GOAT for real. You know what I'm saying? So they better get their shit together. But it's going to be fun to watch this weekend. Going to try and come back with another volume if I can on a quick hit. Just talking about who I think maybe is going to have a good game. Some of the star players. Or shit. If not before then, the results of the game and everything else. But for right now, that's going to wrap everything up for me here. For volume 17, episode 17. Welcome to the franchise. Y'all out there, enjoy y'all weekends. Be safe with this weather on both coasts, wherever the fuck y'all at and shit. Y'all all stay safe. Have fun watching some basketball, women's college basketball, NBA, college basketball, whatever the fuck you watch. But definitely have fun watching that NFL players because it's going to get crazy. But that's it for me. Y'all out there, be easy.